Brian Powell of I Run Far here with Dakota Jones after his victory at the 2002 Transvulcania Ultra. How are you doing today, Dakota?
I'm doing very well, Brian. Thanks.
We've had a nice relaxing day of jumping into the ocean and enjoying a cafe here.
Yeah, it's awesome. We're hanging out in the Canary Islands, which I still haven't quite wrapped my head around.
Have you wrapped your head around your performance yesterday?
No, I haven't done that either. That was nuts. I think I was as surprised as anyone else out there.
I think a month ago I was talking to you and asked you then that you had sort of wanted to know if you thought your Lake Sonoma 50-mile run was your biggest win.
Yeah.
I think I don't have to ask you that question
I think
today.
at the time it was. Yeah. This probably trumps that for sure.
Yeah, you're kind of the king of the laconic quote, the understated quote. Last interview you said, "I ran hard and I won." I'm going to put you on the spot and have you talk a little bit more about your race this time, because it actually was a pretty tight race.
Yeah.
About halfway through the race, almost exactly halfway through the race, distance-wise, I saw you, and you were within 10 seconds of Killian, and Andy was about 2 minutes back.
Okay.
Take us forward from there.
Well, that was when we were getting up to the caldera, like up onto the higher point of the race. So we start at the ocean, and we run up this really long ridge line to the summit of the island, which is a volcano, and it's got this huge caldera in it, and we run along the rim of it, which was amazing. It was just stunning. I mean, these huge vertical cliffs that drop into this. I don't know if it's a rainforest. It's just super steep and incredibly dramatic. There's the ocean on both sides, and it's really kind of choppy along the top. So we go a lot of ups and downs and ups and downs. We're at about like 2,000 meters or plus, which is 6,500 feet, maybe a little less. But then we eventually get up, and this whole time I was running with Killian, and just sort of waiting for him to, get with the program and blow me away. And then we got up to the high point of the race. There's a big aid station there. Everybody's excited. And from there, it's like 20 kilometers and like 7,000 feet of downhill, which is pretty brutal. And once again, I mean, I kind of was hoping that since Killian hasn't been training at all this winter for running, he's just been skiing all winter, that I would be able to put some time on in there, because he's not used to the pounding of the downhill. But he kept up with me, which isn't surprising given that he's Killian.
Yeah.
And we were just running downhill really pretty hard, and we came into an aid station like halfway down it, and then Andy Simon shows up out of nowhere. I hadn't seen him for hours, and just like was psyched, and he just charged ahead and blew me away. Like, I didn't see him for 5 seconds until he was out of sight, when Killian couldn't take it, and he took off after him. And I thought that I was going to get third place. Like, this is it. I guess maybe as long as no one else catches me now, I'll just take third. But I don't know, I just kind of kept running at my own pace, and all of a sudden they came back into view, and then I kind of caught Killian, which really surprised me, and he just stepped aside and let me go. And I was like, "You okay?" He's like, "Yes, yes." And then, I don't know, then I caught Andy too,
And
going down the hill.
Running down the hill, you caught him.
Yeah, because it's the downhill lasted forever. And then there's these switchbacks down to the very bottom, and then I caught Andy, and he was like, "You had a second wind?" And I was like, "No," because I don't know, I didn't.
Yeah.
I think they just kind of went really hard there. They got excited and really in the moment, and just kind of blew themselves out. And without meaning to, I guess I ran smarter. Just kind of doing my own thing. But yeah, then I caught Andy, and I expected him to really give me a hard race up to the finish, and I guess he did, because he was definitely in the back of my mind there. But I was just running my own pace, running my own race as hard as I could, and it was enough to win.
Yeah. Andy says he thought you actually ran, with about 5K to go, you hit the ocean and you come back up through a pretty steep climb at times,
like
with
1,000 feet.
With some cobblestone streets, and it's pretty tough. And Andy said that he actually thought he ran much more of the climb than you did. Apparently you were walking a good, significant parts, but he said you just were walking ridiculously
it's
quick.
not like, it wasn't a question of should I run or should I hike. It was like, I'm gonna hike. That's where my legs were. I couldn't run. I mean, it's 5K to go. I didn't have anything left, so I just hiked as hard as I could.
I mean, you probably do some hiking when you're training. I mean, you select out steep routes and stuff. Do you end up doing
I'd like to think that all my training from Hard Rock last year and the steep mountains I climb definitely got me good at hiking, but I don't know.
Yeah. And then at the finish, I mean, you won, and Andy comes in soon after, and then Killian finishes.
Yeah.
And promptly passes out.
Yeah, he like collapsed. It was pretty wild.
So what went on there? Do you know? You were standing next to him when he did.
Well, I think he just got hot, overheated, probably dehydrated. He doesn't really believe that apparently, but I don't know. He just got hot. I think he's been skiing all winter in a very cold, wintry place, and then he came to this tropical island where it was hot and humid, and like Killian's the kind of guy who's gonna push it to his absolute limit, and he did that. Came across the finish line, blowing kisses, and passed out.
Yeah, and then you put a flower on Killian.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Yeah.
People are talking about that.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess it was a dumb thing to do. I don't know. When I was finishing, this guy gave me a rose. It was cool. Like I was like coming down the finish chute, like half a mile from the finish, and this guy like gave me a rose to finish with, and I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And he was psyched. Like, I wish I could make people psyched that easy all the time. Like, he was fired up. And so I finished with his rose, and then I finished, and I kind of dropped it, and then, I don't know, when Killian finished, I walked back over, and he, like, collapsed, and I found my rose on the ground. I was like, okay, good luck, Killian. Feel better. And I, like, placed the rose on his chest. I just kind of threw it on him, and like, I did that, and immediately it looked like he was dead, and I was like, oh, no. But, yeah. Sorry, Killian.
Yeah. You guys are friends, so what?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Let's not look too deep into that.
No. Exactly. It was just a thing in the moment.
Yeah.
Just we talked about it a little bit in our pre-race interview with everybody, but you wrote the Hype Machine article, on I Run Far a couple weeks ago, and then here yesterday. I mean, you'd seen UTMB before, you've been at Sierra now. But you won yesterday.
It's very different being in the front. Yeah, it's I mean, thinking back on that, it's kind of funny how I was like talking about how there's all this hype around Lake Sonoma, like, which like compared to this race I did yesterday was just, it's a joke. I mean, there were like 100 times the hype here because they just built so much energy around the race, and the entire island was out. I mean, there were like thousands of people there at the finish just going nuts. Like, it was incredible yesterday. I couldn't believe it. And I kind of thought about kind of going back and like doing another article on the same subject about, like reflecting on that article and like what I feel now. But really, it's just, I feel like I said what I had to say there. I run because I like to run.
But what was the details? I mean, like, what was it? I mean, like, you were on Spanish TV yesterday, right? Or did you do like a...
Apparently, yeah. I haven't seen anything.
But
there were helicopters flying around us while we were running. There was this one, like, really excited English dude who'd, like, run next to me with a camera that was bigger than him, and he tripped, like, 4 times. I mean, there was a lot of media. It was crazy. And, I mean, I'm not going to lie and say I don't like that. Yeah, of course I like being the center of attention. Who doesn't? But if it was like that all the time, if I had to deal with that every time I ran, I'd go out of my mind.
Yeah.
I run because I like to run, and the fact that it gets a lot of attention, I think that's really cool. But it's not going to change me. Well, I think that's actually the point, really. It's just that as I get older and as I have more successes, people give me more attention, and I'm afraid that as people tell me so many times that I'm an amazing athlete, I'm this amazing person, I'm afraid that I'll start to believe them and, be a dick. I don't want to be a dick. And so I just want to be like a good guy, and I want to keep it in perspective. It's really nothing more than just running a lot.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the basis of all that. Really, it's just, wrote that article, I guess it had some contentious points, but it's really just one guy's opinion.
Yeah.
And people take it seriously because I run fast.
Speaking of running fast, you're now you've won a sky running race.
Oh, yeah.
You just got a singlet.
Oh,
you don't see this in the U.S.
I got the winner's singlet. Skyrunner World Series 012.
And you're going to go run another Skyrunner World Series race next weekend at Zagama.
That's right, and I hope nobody expects me to win. Because there's like 0.2% chance that I'm going to win. But I'll finish. It's going to be cool. I can't wait.
I mean, do you have any desire or any draw to maybe modify or add to your summer plans to to add in some more Skyrunner races to, I mean, you're the leader and you want a big race.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm the leader after the first race. So that's a start, I guess. Yeah, definitely. I probably won't amend my schedule after Hard Rock, but it's definitely tempting to come back to Europe and do these races because they really love trail running here, and they're very clear about that. And I mean, it's exciting to be a part of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hard Rock's still my focus. Hard Rock's my race.
Yeah. There's already a lot of chatter going around both here and in the Canaries around the dinner table and online about your potential at Hard Rock. That
you win any race and everybody's gonna think you're amazing. Hard Rock's completely different. I think I'm in better shape than I've ever been. I think I'm training much better. I'm older, more experienced. I have more training from years past in my legs, but it's totally different. I'm not going to go into it with any greater expectations than I had last year. I just want to. It's just that I know it better because I had 1 year of experience there, but it's just foolish to kind of think you're bigger than that race.
I think you put it well last year when you crossed the line. Or like, I can't believe I felt that bad and still finished second.
Yeah, yeah, holy cow.
Experiencing the race yesterday and the hype and the hoopla and the thousands of fans. I mean, not just hoopla in the bad sense, like thousands of fans, the support, the money behind it, the organization, and you got a decent check out of the deal. Like, is there anything you think that the U.S. could learn from that experience that you'd like to see transported back to the United States, and also in terms of support from sponsored teams and that sort of thing? Like, what can we learn from yesterday?
It's hard to say because that's almost like this is kind of like an extreme on like the mainstream side of the scale, right? Like this race, there were thousands of fans. There was Spanish TV. There was helicopters circling around. There were cameramen and journalists everywhere covering the race, and there were just thousands of fans and people just everywhere. It was crazy. It was just overwhelming. Whereas then there's what's the other extreme? Maybe Jeff's 350-mile run through Alaska.
Hard Rock's not that far off that.
Yeah, okay. Hard Rock is another. It's probably a more general example, but like, yeah, it makes sense. It's. I mean, there's 8 stations. There's a start. There's a finish. But there's kind of the only people who are there are the people who are in it, who understand it, who are kind of the core people. So they kind of are opposites. But really, I like them both. Like, I think it's kind of cool that I can come over here and do this race and see all this and be a part of it, but then like pull out and be like, holy cow, that was a lot. And then I can go do Hard Rock, go spend a month in Silverton by myself.
And the bartender doesn't give a crap who you are. Or like, yeah. Today, we're at this random cafe, literally, like, you would never know it unless somebody told you where it was. And the owner wants to get their picture with you, or the person clearing the table
I was
tonight.
signing autographs yesterday. I've never signed my autograph before, except for like on my bank account. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I'm still kind of blown away. Holy cow.
Yeah. Well, continue to enjoy the experience in the ride, Dakota, and I'm sure we'll be chatting again soon.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Thanks, dude. It was great.